What's up, everybody? Welcome to Desk Crits. My name is Sean.
I'm Steven.
So, how you feeling? Post spring break, coming right back to school.
Good, man. How was Singapore?
Dude, it was great, man. Like I said, I told you earlier through text. Like when I went there, I'm like, dang, I want to change my terminal project a little bit.
So how behind are we in architecture compared to Singapore? In percentage, 50%.
What, like compared to Eugene?
Yeah, compared to maybe U.S., right? Or I guess like, Eugene, right? To be fair,
Singapore's like. I mean, I've never been to New York, but
you've been to Seattle.
Yeah, it's like that, but it's just more green.
Like everywhere.
More humid.
Oh, it's humid. What are the takeaways? What did you learn? Did you come back more inspired?
Oh yeah, so like my building, I did a lot of greenery stuff. I think I learned more how to actually do it there, which I kind of want to change, but. We'll see. I think I'll just keep my building since we're on a go mode now.
Right. But so like with the architecture that you saw over there, it's more biophilia, right?
Oh yeah. I went to Marina Bay. I went to the Oasis Hotel, which is like literally a whole green wall going all the way up on the hotel on the exterior.
Oh, that's nice. That's one of the things that I often tell people. Like, I just spoke to my sister yesterday and I told her to save her money and travel the world, because once you travel the world, it just does something to you, man. It just activates the brain to think differently, huh? And in our field, I think it helps us to think of architecture spaces a lot differently, because you went to an actual, what we study about here, which is biophilic architecture. But you're probably one of few students who actually seen the real thing.
Oh, it's crazy. I forgot what this one other hotel is called, but the way they did the greenery on that is amazing.
How did you see how much it costs to live like in one of those apartments with all that greenery?
Oh, Singapore is really expensive.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You like, what would it, you didn't get like
I forgot what the average salary you have to make, but it's expensive over there.
Damn, that's cool. Well, I mean, for my spring break, I went to Seattle. I went to Portland first and then Seattle, and it was great, man. The weather was nice, and then I felt good to be in a real city again.
Yeah.
So, like, I even then, like, because I'm from Los Angeles, like the buildings don't compare to like Seattle. Seattle's a lot more modern, like with the downtown at least.
Yeah.
And Pike Place Market is super, like, it's really fun, man.
I love going there when I get the chance. I think every time I go to Seattle, I always go there.
Do you think like it has to exist, otherwise it wouldn't be there? But like the seafood is really expensive, man.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, like, who's buying it exactly? Have you been there when someone has bought it?
Like, fresh?
Yeah.
Or, like, fresh? No.
So, I was interested.
I mean, I'm only there, like, a couple of days, so...
Yeah.
But I do see people buy it.
Yeah, because, like, I was interested...
They're from there, so...
Yeah. I was interested in sending my brother a coho salmon, and it was, like, $19.99 a pound, so $20. And I told the guy, how much would it cost? And the guy said, so normally a typical weight for the salmon would be 6 pounds, right? So it's 20 times 6. So that's that. And then
$20.
$89.99 for the shipping.
Oh, God.
I was like, damn, that's a $200 fish. So I was like, nah, I'm out. I was really close to buying it. But that's what I did, and I enjoyed it, man. It was really nice. And now back to the grind. And so with one of the questions that we'll start off today is, how do you feel about your current progress in your architecture studies and your overall experience so far?
I mean, I feel like you can answer this one better because you did master and undergrad, since like you've seen two different parts. But for me, I feel satisfied for what education I got. Especially the last 2 years, I think. I learned the most out of my degree, I think. That's where, like, I started to notice everything, but I don't know, the first 3 years is definitely just, like, bluffing rounds, but the last two I feel like I'm in, I definitely, like, intook a lot of information.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, you know, like I said, I do want to go into product design, but I'm glad still that I got to study architecture because I could always go back to it.
Yeah. How I feel about it is that architecture and landscape architecture are really different. But it really feels good to have done landscape architecture first and then architecture. Because in architecture you rarely touch the landscape part of it. And it's very crucial to have addressed that issue in the process. And I feel like, you know, I don't know how it was for undergrad for you with architecture. I think you mentioned a little bit, but I think the first year is just fluff, right? It's just get your feet wet and do a little bit of exploring. And then third year, that's when things start kicking in. Was it the same for you in third year? Like,
yeah, that's when, like, structure and all the, like, engineering kind of stuff coming together, and you're like, oh, it's getting more intense.
That's when it got really stressful, right? Yeah. That's where we met, right? Like, so your third year was my first year, yeah, of the master's program. Yeah, man, that was quite an experience because it gets real. Because, like, your design has to be able to stand, right? And
it's like low-key a big jump from education.
yeah.
Go from just messing around, then you're like, oh.
Yeah.
It's not like slow build up. It's just like you're going right in it.
Yeah, the moment connections and all of that, and we still practice that, right? Like, we still talk about that, so it was important. So I think that the current progress that we've done is going to help us in the future with this, because we still have to talk about it in our terminal studios of moment connections and the engineering side of it. So moving on, what are your aspirations and goals for applying your architectural education to real world projects and professional practice?
You know, I'm trying to apply for grad school right now, and I think trying to go into, like, a product design field with my architecture degree would be an interesting way I view things differently. That's for me, since I'm not going to apply for firms yet.
Would you be, like, interested in working for community-based organizations, like organizations that advocate for services for underrepresented neighborhoods and doing that type of architecture, like being a, like, social justice, so to speak? Like, is that, or you would rather work for a firm just doing housing?
I'd rather do that because that's more hands-on because they're usually smaller.
Yeah, but it gets more real, right? Because then you'll really deal with NIMBY, not in your backyard people. And if you haven't been introduced to that world, I think it can throw you off. Would that be something you'd be interested? Like, hey, I'm cool.
Yeah, I'd be down.
Yeah, we just had the presentation. That's what it was about. And
I feel like those you learn faster and you learn way more than just sitting on a computer just doing it. But that one you're, like, more like you have to think about everything now.
yeah. One of the questions that arose there was that to build better prisons for the inmates, because they're human beings too, and they deserve to have a place that they can be in. And I don't know how I felt about that, because, like, the majority are criminals, right? The majority you obviously wouldn't invite to your house or have around your family, and that's just the honest truth. So, like, how exactly can we create architecture for the prisons to make it so that Jeffrey Epstein and all these other criminals can enjoy? Like, that did not make sense to me. Like, let's build a central park for them so that they're, courtyard is beautiful and they can do their time in peace. Like, that did not make any sense to me. And it can be controversial, so I'm very interested in what like the viewers would have to say about that or what they think. But what do you think about that?
I don't know. That's kind of interesting because like I do hear a lot of people just go to prison just to get shelter and food.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I feel like if you make a place that's like nicer, I feel like more people would just rather go homeless and then just go there.
It almost feels like you remember when you were a kid and you got in trouble with another kid. It's okay. They're just gonna send me to the auditorium. I'll be out in an hour, right? Like the prison, the inmate's gonna be like, it's okay. We have a nice park in the courtyard and we have a lot of beautiful views from our jail cell. Like, it didn't make sense, man. Like, I don't think you're promoting any type of a, like,
Punishment.
yeah, because in the end, like, okay, like the other point they brought up is that the majority of the inmates have mental health issues, right? So then that's a different issue. Like, we were talking about architecture, so that's a behavioral science. But the architectural design, I don't think would do anything if they have a mental issue. Like, it'll do very little, like, and not what they expect to get, right? Like, if they're doing a central park, so to speak, in the courtyard, is that gonna allow the molester to not want to molest kids anymore? It doesn't make sense how that would do that impact. Or will that allow the murderer to say, I shouldn't kill people anymore, or maybe I should reduce it from 4 to 2 a year? That's a very complicated subject, but that's what was introduced earlier today. So I think that those would be organizations that I would be interested in working in, because that's a real issue, as opposed to like gentrifying an area, working for a firm that you design housing and then you move on. Anything else you would like to add?
Yeah, I can see why they would want it nicer because maybe it could like heal them, but I don't know. It's kind of like 50-50 in the gray area.
Yeah.
I can see why they want to do it, but it's just, I don't know.
It just doesn't make sense. Like, if they have mental health issues, right? Like, then how exactly would that really help them? Like, I don't think that would do anything if the real problem is something else and not the courtyard, not the architectural space. But I mean, I'm very interested in hearing the research. I'm not against it. I'm still intrigued by it, but it still doesn't make any sense to me.
No, yeah.
So moving on to the next question. Yeah.
Yeah. How do you think COVID-19 has impacted the field in architecture, and what challenges do you anticipate in the design of public space and buildings?
One of the professors talked to me about this because we were talking about the students' performance and how the majority of them are slackers, and that professor said that they feel that the pandemic had a lot to do with that, because they got used to using that as a scapegoat, right? Oh, because of the pandemic, I couldn't turn in my homework. Oh, because of the pandemic, I couldn't develop floor plans, elevation sections. And so they used it as a crutch. And the professors have to accept that because it's what everybody else is doing, so to speak. But I feel it impacted them negatively. Because how do you feel about the students' performance? I mean, our studio, I don't think we really deal with it. But do you feel like the work has regressed?
When I went here, there was an architecture studio, but it's for non-architecture people. And I was like, I really liked the environment, being in the studio, just seeing everyone work and like collaborating. But when I got into the program, that's when COVID happened. I was like, oh my God, I already sit on my computer all day, and now I have to do it even more because like I have to be in class. They're 5 hours long.
Right.
It's just like, I just kind of want to like get it over with.
Yeah. So it did impact you.
Yeah, but that was when I was still enthusiastic for architecture, so I actually like tried really hard, even online. But yeah.
Even online, yeah. I like that though. I like that it was transitioning to online because it made everything easier for me because like you don't have to pay for prints anymore. You can just submit digital and you get to present it and zoom in a lot better as opposed to a hard copy. Um, and so I really enjoyed that part of it because it saved a lot of money, a lot of time. I didn't have to drive half hour to my community college. I mean my to my university, or sometimes 45 minutes because of traffic.
Oh yeah, there's definitely perks to
Right.
online. It's but there's also some like I kind of wish it was in person just to like talk to people and like see what's up.
That was the pro. That was something that I wished that that's something that I didn't like about the pandemic, that it affected us that way. Um, Anything else?
No, that's it for me.
How do you think architects can use their platform to amplify underrepresented voices and promote diversity within the profession?
So our school always does that career fair thing. Kind of wish we had more of those, just to like see more firms. I wish more firms would actually like fly out more and like actually promote themselves.
Hmm.
I feel like the career fair is like just a cookie cutter, like, oh, we're known for this, and yeah. But I wish like it was more than one day. Even though like I'm not gonna apply for any of them probably, I just wish I could see more and they were like couple day, at least 2 days, not one like not one half day where it's just like everyone's just trying to go in. You're just kind of getting the short front of the stick, just like just giving you the front cover, like, oh, this is what we do. But I kind of wish it was like longer and more firms actually try to promote themselves to like younger students. But
I haven't been to any of them, but what do you say would be something helpful for them to do? Like, because I've been hearing comments that it feels like Hunger Games.
no, yeah, it's literally like first come first serve, and they just say the same. I don't know. I wish it was like not like it's like you have like 7 hours to like meet them or something. It's like I wish it was longer. I wish it was bigger because like I feel like we always get the same firms, and there was always like four different firms usually that usually swap out, but like you see a lot of the similar ones. But I wish like more firms would like come out, like even if it's like East Coast.
Yeah, yeah, because we already get the
I mean,
alerts
I know some of
online.
them do come from East Coast, but like I wish there was like more.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I guess for that, I think that would be the same answer for before. Is that the nonprofit organizations that those are the ones that promote, the social justice platforms, and you get to work with underrepresented neighborhoods because it's really difficult to find firms that do that kind of work because it's a specialty, I think, because not everybody's going to want to work in those neighborhoods because it's challenging. Um, but I feel that in class, the way that can be addressed and amplified is by having, students of color, raise awareness of the challenges that exist in our neighborhoods and get feedback from others to see how we can improve our neighborhoods. Because we think only what we see in our neighborhoods because we live in them or lived, but the other students have a different perspective, and I'll be interested in hearing, what the conversation looks like, based on like your point of view, right? Because you didn't grow up in the hood or in projects, and maybe your perspective would be different and helpful to see what we can do to make it a better place. You want to read the next question?
Yeah, what do you believe in the most pressing challenge facing the field of architecture today, and how do you think it can be addressed?
What do you have for that?
I'm not sure. I feel like I don't know. Since I haven't applied, I haven't really looked at the problems for architecture. I just hear that it's just kind of like you have to know this one program, or we're not gonna like take you in probably.
Yeah, I think
I kind of hate that it's like there's a single program that you have to use to like get in.
I think that I want to align with what you're saying is also like the wage, right? Like we don't get paid a lot.
That too. The amount of work that people put in is not the right amount we get paid for.
Yeah, it doesn't
Only
compensate.
like the top 1%, you're like making
Yeah.
that much money, but that's like 1%.
Right. And so that's always an ongoing issue because even with internships, they're like, man, like, a retail store pays more than that. Or a gas station, in this case, in the state of Oregon, like, that's the same amount as a gas attendant makes. Right? And all he has to do is pump fuel and take it out and remove the nozzle and put it back. And and it almost feels like we don't get compensated enough for what we do, right? Because we critically think, we design, we do digital representation, multimedia design, and then it's still equivalent. It is equivalent to, a cashier maybe. So I think that needs a lot of help in our field because we work so hard, man. Like they make us deliver a lot of stuff, and it doesn't amount to at least to feel like we're being compensated for what we do. So that's why I like the fact that because of our major is a science, we're able to go, in a many different paths. If we don't like, well, to be in a CAD monkey all day.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah, I don't know. When I tell people that I do architecture, they're like, "Oh, that seems fun," and I'm like, "It's fun to some extent. Like, you don't realize like how much work you're gonna be doing." Like when I first thought of architecture, I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun, just drawing, just creating," but it's like way more than that.
Yeah, but and then the worst part is the wage. Right, like damn, man, like, and then still like you clock out, but hey Sean, please send me more, and you're like, I clocked out already. That was one of the issues. I was talking with a student yesterday because she works for a firm here in town, and I said, how are you liking working for a firm? And she said, I like it. The only downside is that there's no boundaries, because like once I put in my 8 hours, I hope to be able to eject myself and live my life, but they constantly text me like, do this, do that, can you send this, can you send that? And she's like, hey, I already clocked out, man. And she feels like pressured to work. So
Yeah. Our major is like always go.
yeah. Do you feel like that too? Like sometimes you're going somewhere and then you end up coming back to the house to send that last file?
Yeah, like
right?
I was contemplating to bring my laptop to Singapore to work on studio.
Yeah.
I was thinking about studio the whole time there also because I was like, oh my god, I need to start doing stuff.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm just not gonna take it. I'm just gonna.
Well, good for you that you didn't take it, man. You enjoyed that.
I was really close packing it. I was like, last minute before I went on a plane, I'm like, never mind. I'm just gonna leave it at the house, not take it.
Yeah, that's good though. That's good that you did and you enjoyed that trip.
Like, yeah, I mean, it's always in my mind. Like, it's never not.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about it. Even when I'm like gaming sometimes, I'm still thinking about architecture.
Yeah, exactly. Like we think about
it's just
it so
built
much.
into you because pulling all the all-nighters.
Yeah.
Some weeks are literally, you gotta just get it all out.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. Moving on to the next question. What's been your favorite class so far and why did you enjoy it?
I loved I took a landscape design class, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I just learned a lot from that class, like how to render, how to program more, how to understand Rhino more, and it just like elevated my skills a lot more. And like I don't know why we don't have that. I noticed that a lot of landscape classes are low key way better than architecture classes. Yeah, I just don't understand why. Like the stuff they do, I'm like, shouldn't we have those skills?
You know what it is? It's the faculty.
Oh, I know. The faculty is like I look at the landscape lineup and it's like way better than.
Yeah, and because people are
they're all young.
Right, and the old
fresh.
School, yeah, and the old school set in their ways.
No offense to all the like older professors, but I feel like there is a cutoff point, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and it benefits you, right? Because like you found joy in going to that class as opposed to being to that monotone class.
Was it hard? Yeah, but like I love that class because it was fun.
You mentioned that it raised your graphics level too, right?
Oh, by a lot. Like way better than any of the other architecture classes I took.
So when you took this class and you passed it, did you recommend it to other students? Like, hey, make sure or you just kept it to yourself? Like you were just content that you learned something? Because I think we should raise awareness to those classes.
I mean, I didn't like go out my way to tell people, but just some of the friends I have, I was like showing them. They're like, "Oh, you're learning that?" And they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Dang, I should take that class."
Yeah, I the class that I took that I enjoyed so far was a media class that we got to choose elevation, sections, perspective, and a floor plan of stuff that we see that receives awards, like from real renders, like really nice award-winning renders. And the professor like did like we get to vote for it, which one was the best that we liked. We all agreed on the same image, and then he would show us how to do it, how to execute a drawing like that. And I really enjoyed that class because it allowed me to step up my graphics game.
I wish studios would do more competitions.
Yeah.
Like the one you're in.
Yeah.
Because like, I sometimes just I don't even look at precedents anymore. I look at competition boards because like, man, some people around the world, they just do it way too creative. And I'm like, how do they do that? I want to learn how they do the graphics like that.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, I feel like some studios, I have a nice drive because I like the topic, but most of them, I'm like, it's not even gonna get built. Like, I don't know why I can't go crazy if it's not going built. So I'm like, why don't we just do a competition? Because then it's more like some of them like could get built, or there's like more benefits to it.
Yeah, there is because you can get acknowledgement from it. Yeah, I would definitely suggest students join those studios because your work won't be in vain.
I know, that's where you kind of like, you have a purpose, like an actual like drive to do good.
Yeah, and they're hard, right? But they're difficult, but
hard. But your work will be way better.
Yeah, and those studios are more productive than most, I think, because that studio that I was in, it was just come in and work and talk with your partner, and the other ones, there's a lot of fluff involved. So that was your favorite class then? That one, the media class.
Yeah.
Yeah, same.
That was the most fun. That's the most knowledge I learned and more technical skills I started to understand.
Yeah. You want to read the next one?
Yeah. Can you share a funny or memorable moment from one of your classes?
Yeah, I can think of one now, man. It was a field trip in my undergrad. We went to Arizona, and it was really cool because it was like a campsite, and it had like little dorms, and I was with like 3 of my good friends, man, and we were laughing all night, man. And we were talking about a certain individual who was just so funny, man. And we stepped out that night, and you know how it is when you camp, it's extremely dark because the forest is dense, and so your only sunlight is the stars and the moon, and it was beautiful though. But we were walking to go to the other dorms where the other students were, and there was that individual we were talking about, man, the living legend. and this dude was getting drunk, like really drunk, and and one of the students gave him another drink, and they peer pressured him to like drink. Right? They're like, come on, you got it in you, one more. And because he wanted to seem cool, he drank it, and he choked, he sneezed, and he just like released a bunch of mucus at the same time. He sneezed, he burped, and then he released the mucus, and and he threw up right after, and went over the balcony and threw up on someone that was outside smoking.
Damn.
Yeah, so it was super funny. And so he started choking. You know when you throw up, like you're gasping for air? And he was throwing up. And then we all panicked. And so he went to the restroom. And we were all like worried, like, man, we're going to get in trouble. And this dude just went to go get cleaned up, came back, and he grabbed his beer back from me. Like, here, the party goes on. He's a living legend, man. Shout out to Durkee. But what about you?
You know, it's actually about you. I remember one right now. What was it? Structures? I don't remember.
Oh, yeah,
you were
yeah.
asking a question. I think it was our last class day or something.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It was structured.
Yeah, we were in class, but I think you were asking the question on Zoom.
Yeah, it was.
Turn on your camera. You're like face up, full screen. Everyone's just dying laughing, and you went outside like asking a question, and we're all just like, oh yeah. My god.
I remember hearing about that. Like my face was, the camera was turned on, I guess. I didn't know.
Yeah, I thought you were just fucking around, and I was like, holy shit, this is too funny right now. This is great. No, yeah, your face, I remember that day exactly. You were like asking a question, like front of, your face is right there, and you're like...
Yeah, no, yeah, I remember hearing it from a lot of people, and that screen's huge, right? It was a class of like 150 students.
Yeah, that's where I played Mario Kart also.
Yeah, that was good times, man. Those are the good times because then it makes school fun. Because then everybody learns to laugh and it's not so uptight, man. There's a student that I asked, like, you know, like if he found the humor in a lot of things, and he's younger than I am, and I think he's like 25, 26, and he's like, oh, I try to, you know, I try to be as professional as I can. I try to be as serious as I can, and I think like, why, man? Like, live your life, be happy. So, want to read the next question?
Yeah, what's the most unusual or unexpected skill or knowledge you've gained from a class that you don't anticipate learning?
I don't know. I don't have anything yet for that one. What do you think?
What is the most unusual or unexpected skill or knowledge? I think there is one. I'm just trying to think of one.
For me, I guess now that I think about this question, was how to properly do a site analysis. Like in my third year of landscape architecture undergrad, the professor dedicated that entire quarter on site analysis. That's all we did, because she saw that we didn't know how to do that. Because you know how the quarter system is fast, and so she realized that we didn't know how to do site analysis properly. So we were hand sketching site analysis drawings, you know, a lot more, and so a lot of our work was analog. And then it forced us to sit back and see the problems. So then it became easier for me now to address the who and why. So what I learned from that class was, what is the problem based on your site analysis? What is your solution? And so that helped. That was a serious skill that I learned. What about you?
Design iterations? I don't know. I'm starting to realize, like, a lot of people come up to me, they're like, why do you have so many, like... I was like, I don't know. They just come to my head.
Oh, your little hand sketches?
Like, just designing multiple things, like, very fast. Like, fully finished almost, too. It's like, I don't know, like, today someone said, like, oh, how'd you do this so fast? I'm like, I really don't know. It just comes to me when I get dialed in. It's just, I'm able to make a lot of different kinds.
So you got a lot faster.
Yeah, because some people like when they design, it's hard for them to like design a lot of different things, like multiple iterations. But for me, I can like crank them out all different. They don't look similar. It's like very different.
Well, that's good. When did you learn that?
I don't know.
Like year 3?
No, I think year 2. I think that's when I started like just trying to dish everything out.
Yeah.
Just trying to like, I don't know. Just kind of just came out of nowhere, honestly, the more I think about it now.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that, right?
I know some people struggle to like come up with 2 ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But, like I can just
whip it out. That's good. That's good. Not a lot of people know that because a lot of people get stuck on just one idea and it's like, man, just release it and come back to another idea. Yeah, so that was what we gained. The next question?
Yeah, why do you think site visits are often conducted in a certain location over others, such as Portland instead of Seattle?
I think it's because they're already anticipating the students finding reasons not to go. Right? So like Portland from us is it a 2-hour drive?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Portland is 2 hours, Seattle is 4. And to me, Seattle is more interesting to visit than Portland because Seattle is like a really thriving city, and there's a lot of things to see there besides just the architecture and just seeing circulation movement of how different pattern languages. And Portland is facing a lot of issues, and so I think with the site visits that we do, they try to keep them local so that way all students can go, as opposed to like Seattle that's 4 hours away. But I think Seattle, for example, would be more beneficial because of everything mentioned. It's modern, it's up to date with a lot of things, and it's a real thriving city. What do you think?
I don't know. I think I maybe 3 or 2 studios that were in Portland, or at least we go to the site there, and then it's usually in the same area, and I'm like, oh god, I already like technically know the site already. It's like,
Yeah.
what else can I do? It's already like done.
Yeah.
Like, there's not much change I can do. I'm just sitting on a flop block.
Right.
But I don't know. I kind of wish we would have the option to do Seattle because it's, I don't know. I don't go to Seattle that often, so it's like,
Yeah.
why not? Why not go up there and make a day trip? I'll be down.
Yeah, it makes sense to me too to do that. I think we should raise awareness on that too because we're only going to be here for a short amount of time, and if we don't visit it with the group, then we might not go to a certain place, right? Because we have no business going to certain places, especially like a downtown urban area. Some people don't like traffic, like myself, but it forces you to get off your car and walk around and see everything you won't see ever again. And that's super beneficial to us as architects.
What about Cali? Would you do Cali?
No, I wouldn't.
Not all the way down there, but like somewhere closer.
You know what's funny is that my undergrad in the 4th year, the field trip was Seattle. So they came from California to Seattle.
Oh my god.
And they were talking about it like it was so nice. I didn't go to that one. I ended up going to San Francisco.
I mean, the drive to California and going through Seattle is actually really nice.
Yeah, it is. It is. But see, again, I chose to go to San Francisco because I'm like, it's closer. It's only 6 hours as opposed to, 20 hours from California to Seattle. But everybody came back talking about Seattle, and everybody from San Francisco is like, you guys been there? It's not all that, because we already know the area. And Seattle is not San Francisco. So I think that they should push for different locations to explore, so that way we stay up to date and everybody doesn't feel bored because they feel I've been here already.
You know how our site's in Canada?
Yeah.
You think we missed out?
I think we did, because I don't think I'll ever go to Canada. Will you?
I'm actually going this summer, I think.
Oh, you are? Yeah, see, I don't... And I probably should go because I'm going to go back to California and then once I'm in California, I won't want to visit anywhere
I've been to
else.
Canada once before, but I forgot where.
It's just so expensive.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm curious to see why, right? And then I think that once we get there, we'll understand why. Because the professor made it seem like they have up to date, you know, better practice management design strategies to address climate change. Like they're the leaders and actually doing something about that. So I think it's worth a visit for us to check out. I think we missed out though.
I almost got on, just weather stopped me.
Yeah, you did go. You did go. But aren't you glad you didn't go because it was a weather storm? Remember how dangerous it was here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had fun here. I was just playing outside the whole time.
Everybody was falling. Remember, everybody was slipping on that black ice. So imagine,
Dude, I was just messing around the whole time.
Yeah.
I was just running around in the snow, just sliding and gliding everywhere.
But it wasn't really snow, it was ice.
Dude, oh my god. When my flight wasn't canceled. I just tried to refund it. It was like snowing a lot. I was like, oh my god, I need to get to my car and get home like faster because I'm like, I don't want this stuff getting worse where I can't drive.
Yeah. But I'm glad you stood, man. It was a very scary day. Everybody who went had issues.
Yeah, man, maybe there was a reason, you know?
Right.
Because actually, I would have been stuck up there, I think, because it's worse. It was worse up there.
Right, because we were gonna drive. Remember, we were thinking about driving. We would have been in serious stuff, man.
We would probably have to stay in like Seattle and then go. Oh. God.
Yeah, all bad. But let's see. You want to read the next one?
Yeah. Oh yeah. What do you think sets apart a successful architectural design from an average one?
What do you think? I'm not sure yet.
I don't know. I feel like the answer is space. Like the way you create space. But I'm not sure, honestly.
I think for me, now that you've opened up the discussion, is that you have to have a valid reason for displacement, right? Because if we're gonna propose a building and displace what's already existing there, you better have a valid reason for doing it, right? Because even animals get displaced. If you tear down trees, now the certain bird species won't live there anymore. And you have to have a valid reason of why, for example, you put a gym there. So I think that's how you conduct and do successful architectural design.
Yeah, I'm very curious what people think about the Marina Bay when I went to Singapore, because you know how in our studio we're trying to max out efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
But when I went to the Marina Bay, I was just looking at it like, wow, you could fit way more rooms here, but they just made it like a 20 triple height space in the public space. But it's like, I don't know, I was thinking about that. I was like, I feel like you could put more rooms in this area, but it's just more of a, they went for more of a beauty thing instead of an efficient thing.
Yeah. So, something fun here. What's your go-to snack during class breaks? You're not a coffee drinker, huh?
What do you mean? I drink coffee a lot.
But hot coffee. You drink iced coffee.
Iced, hot. I drink sweet coffee in the morning. And it's usually hot, and I like drinking like black coffee during the afternoon or night.
So you're not sleeping at night.
But I don't get affected by the caffeine.
Oh, you're one of those too?
Like, I could drink coffee, I could just go to bed. I'd be fine. I just drink it for the taste.
Yeah. So what about snack? Gushers?
Hey, just because those gushers weren't mine and I didn't share to you, you didn't always bring that up, alright?
It's funny because like during the first podcast, I had asked Sean had a big box of gushers.
That wasn't my box.
And he never offered.
We gotta clarify
he never shared.
That wasn't mine. Don't be throwing me under there. I share literally everything that I own.
Yeah, you do. So what's your favorite snack then? You like chocolate? I don't think I've ever seen you eat chocolate.
I do, but I usually like eating that during the night, and it's usually frozen. But during studio, I like to just, I don't know, either I need like to eat like a fruity candy, or I need to be drinking vitamin water or coffee.
Mm-hmm.
I just like, I don't know, when I do stuff, I just like drinking stuff while I'm doing things.
Yeah. Favorite drink for me would be coffee. Hot coffee. I love the taste. And favorite snack, oh man. I like Snickers and Reese's Buttercups. For chocolate, but it's hard to like eat because like you're always on the go and then you get all your studio space messy.
I forget to eat sometimes.
Yeah.
I just have to force myself to eat sometimes. I'm like...
One of the things that you introduced me to that I like now a lot is the Korean corn dogs. Is that a snack or is that lunch? What is that considered?
I think it's a snack.
It is, right?
I don't really see it as a meal unless you're eating like 4 of them.
Yeah, you're right. But they're so good, man. They're so good, but I just was like...
Man, you freaking love those things.
Hey, remember I came in the studio, you came... Did you eat fried chicken? I was like, yeah, I did. I just ate some Korean fried chicken. Like, yeah, I know that smell.
I told you, I know my fried chicken.
That was awesome, man. But yeah, it feels good to be back,
and you put the cologne on.
Yeah. I spread the cologne over hot grease, right? It feels good to be back, man. Hopefully we bring a guest, for the next one.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything else you would like to add to this?
No. You?
No. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for watching, and then please DM us any questions if you have any.
Or if you guys think it would be fun to have a professor to give their take, or multiple would be interested, let us know. Anything else, Sean?
No, that'll be it.
All right. You guys have a good night.